Hello everyone, my name is Ijeoma Ugochukwu Ihezuoh. I'm a single parent of 3 beautiful kids. I migrated to Canada 2019, and as a result of the domestic violence I had encountered, I tried to see if I can manage it, but at that point in time my life was at stake. So when I left, he threatened me that if I don't come back after a month, that I should come back home. I said there was never a home. There was a home that I'm scared of sleeping on even till a couple of years back, I can't sleep on my bed because I always have this feeling that it's coming to, push the pillow and suppress me. Those things were still in my mind till up to I started what's called IJ Motivate. I was only sharing the story with myself, and my kids would hear me talking to myself in the washroom, in the bedroom, like, Mom, who are you talking to? Like, is the Nigerian African spirits, are they here now,
What were you telling yourself in those moments?
I just said, IJ, this is you. You gotta motivate yourself. You have to speak to other women that it's high time you don't, because a lot of people can't have the heart like I do. I was strong and brave enough to move because I couldn't, some women don't have the audacity or the strength to do that. So what I did from the shelter, I had 4 women I've been counseling up to before I launched
You were counseling women?
Yes, I was counseling women. I didn't tell them my story. One, because of the way they were not ready to know who I was. But when I speak to them, we go out for a walk, I get information and resources. So people know me as IJ. Don't have information or by IJ. If you want anything else, ask IJ.
So you were resourceful?
I'm very resourceful. I was very detailed. I was productive in the shelter. They know me. Costy know me. My caseworker knows me. I'm very, very transparent. And I tell them, don't do more than this. If you do that, the land will go after you. And you know this land is very, very, they've helped us a lot. So don't cheat. So those women have been with me. When they moved from shelter to London, Barry, we still communicate, and we still talk. So when I get some gift card from Walmart, from Tim Hortons, I just post it to them, say, babe, see what I got for this. So I share, okay, babe, I got one big money I did for one of my investments because I'm a financial advisor. I just send them, take this for my kids, buy them some things at Walmart, get them something. They're like, oh, IJ, thanks. So one time I was sick here, I had an accident and I didn't call them for like a week. If you say they kind of bombastic, IJ, they don't call me. I said, am I your boyfriend? So they got used to the relationship because we gist a lot. I want them to understand that nobody was gisting with me because I was scared of sharing my story with my siblings and my parents. And the one I shared with the dad, the mom, they warned me, they threatened me. They really made me so scared. I don't want to lose my husband. I will kneel down my pregnancy. I will beg them, please. I'll beg my ex-husband them, honey, please. Take me like your sister. If you use one hand to beat me, use the other hand to bring me back for the sake of these kids. Because my dad and my mom has been married for like about 50 years. My siblings are the same. So what happened? People see us. We went to the same university, And
you and your ex?
Yes. And so I could have seen the flag then, but I just felt after he came to apologize, called me his dad, his late father, everything was like, it was crazy, and I forgive him. And I'm the Christian girl that I am, very mommy, daddy's child, just daddy and mommy will go from school to work. I don't have a couple of friends then. So, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough for him. And he tells me that girls are rushing him, that I'm not beautiful enough for him then.
Well, you are gorgeous.
Yeah, so
you are gorgeous.
So,
and I see that you have written a book, The Single Parent's Guide to Raising Remarkable Children. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
On this book. And I know that recently you also launched your NGO. Tell us about that.
Okay. Breast Open Rights Foundation was initially, it kicked off from IJ Motivate. So over the 4 years I've been doing the counseling and going out for community involvement. I got to part, I was volunteering for a lot of organizations, non-for-profit, individuals. So in the course of me doing that, I learned a lot, and I saw a lot of flaws, and I saw some things I can do from what I've experienced so far. So I decided, okay, I braced up because I was able to grab myself up, right? So I want to see, and I've risen because God has blessed myself and my kids. We've got our papers, and He has given me a second chance. Thank you. He gave me a second chance. I was able to, separate the old story and my new story, and I was able to.
I like that. There's an old story and there's a new story.
Yes,
I like how you put that.
Yeah, and I told my kids, we learn a lot of things, hand skill works. My daughter made my hair. She does my makeup. My son does this sketching. So, and we usually have our fun time. We usually have our hide and seek time. We usually have a family meeting. Then I usually have a date every day of their birthday, every month. Like this, you're born on the 2nd of January, for example. February 2nd, I go out with you. We'll go talk. You tell me what you don't like, what I did, what the other two did, and and then I'll tell you, this is how you can improve, and let's look at what you're good at. So I bought mannequin for the other. She said she likes to make hair. She wants to do makeup, so she uses me to do makeup. So if the makeup is good or not, I have to go with it.
Well, this is good. Tell her she did a good job.
Yeah, she's like, Mom, is it good? I said, it's good though. It's good though. So she made this hair for me. And the other girl, she's into IT, like photography, she's trying to learn how to make website and Canva. So my son is like the one that finalizes, Mom, I don't like this dress. Mom, this one is not good. Let me pose like this. Let me take a photo.
Oh, wow.
And so he's an engineer to like his father, So I've made that we had this bond. Then when I say something, they say, Mom, but you said, Mom, you said, I say, really?
So they're holding you accountable.
Yes. So I actually get them, I don't want them to fill that gap of the father figure, not there, So I play soccer with my son. So when my daughter is running, playing volleyball, I'm around the pitch. I'm also for track and field. You see me running by the side of the road. People will say, are you the one running? So when they say, Mom, why are you doing that? I say, oh, I'm in the spirit with you, So we also go to church. We make sure, I'm a Catholic, I taught them the principles of reciting the rosary, the angelus, the divine mercy. These are the things that I work with because like I'm a Catholic, but I attend MFM programs. So that MFM program is like for them to know how to pray. Catholic were like homily and all of that. So I want them to not to be limited to a particular sport, to also expand the way I was given the opportunity to explore, right? So you have to be flexible. So they eat amala and they will do. Yes, I take them to the amala joint. They eat the native. My daughter can make the okra soup. So when people ask me some things, they say, I just said my kids. Somebody called me and said, why are you always mentioning your kids? Are you the only one? I say, Mabino, I'm sorry. They are my pride, my joy. So when I talk about them, it makes me indirectly, I'm recovering from my depression. Yes, my trauma. But I don't need to come and make an announcement and tell people I went through trauma. Do you understand? So people want to hear the story of that. I'm not in the party to tell you that story. So this is my life. So when I talk about that, it gives me a sense of belonging that, oh, I'm alive. Something I did not miss. I miss other passion of me, like my lovely husband, but these are my life. These children are my whole world. So I cannot afford to trade it for anything.
Yeah.
So most cases I want to go somewhere, I just call you, I'm sorry, I can't make it because my kid has to go for a soccer class.
So their priority.
They're my number one priority. So I worked as a PSW, got my papers just this last year. And I want them to also have that fun. I have a couple of friends who have 4 boys. And my son goes to the house, like sleep over and spend time and all of that. So by my own quiet time, I ask God one thing. What can I do to pay back? And that is only volunteering, community involvement. People call me, I'm everywhere. So at times I have issues with some of my friends here. I did you not post my flyer? I did you not come for my event? I did not. I said in a weekend I have 4 or 5 events. Why? I want to integrate into the system. So, but while I'm doing that, I have to also have a side hustle income to pay and offset my bills. So I got licensed. I'm a financial advisor, and I also finished my human resources courses. So also I have experience with PSW, but I want to do something that can make me give back to. I'm trying to appreciate God, and also at the same time appreciate Canada for taking me in when no one was there to to absorb me. I was and it has been so nice. So Brace Parents Foundation is basically for single parents, and notwithstanding, I also involved with the men because I have a couple of male friends who lost their wives through sicknesses and all of that, and the focus also is for single moms, right? And these single moms have youth, have children, So I partner with organizations like Passport, like even in fact, WODI, and also many other organizations like I can partner with in terms of training the kids, training the women to become independent, to become entrepreneurs, to also appreciate what they have, their own values and their own culture. So this single parent book is part of what I did. Part of the norms, the things I did in training my kids, the bonding that we had. And when people come out and see me, they keep wondering, when I was launching
how did you do
it?
it?
My MP was like, I don't know how you do it. You are always in my events. The next thing I see you post another one in Brampton. The next thing I see you're like, oh, sir, it's community engagement. I love to be there so I can support. I don't have the money, yes, for now. I don't have the fame for now, but the little one I can do, let me just pay it, pass it forward. And so this book was like the real cultural heritage about my culture as an Igbo girl from the eastern part of Nigeria. I'm proud. I'm a proud Igbo woman. And I told my kids that no matter what, like my son must learn Igbo. He attends Igbo class. Yes, because he has his own right to be, to understand the culture of his father's tongue, mother's tongue, right? So this book has been impactful to a lot of women who have read the books. And in the course of my launching, I gave out some books out for free, and I just did a coffee hangout for single moms, which I get, they got the books, and it's been very, very nice. I mean, it's very, very informative. It's been very, very interesting, and I encourage single parents to bond with their kids more. I know 9 to 5 you want to pay your bills, but read this book to tell you more details. Yeah,
absolutely. Coming from someone who's walked that walk herself and knows everything that she has to put in that book. Ije, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. We're so proud of you. Thank you for all that you have done. You must be proud of yourself. You should be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
And I know that you have only just begun. The best, like they say, is yet to come. So we wish you all the very best.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. And do you have any parting words before you leave?
Okay. It took me a lot of courage to come out this day to share my story, because most people don't know about my story. And
I see you're getting emotional just sharing that story.
Yeah. So I tell people, if you know the place is getting hot, mostly not people, women, you just have to come out of it, evacuate from it, because when the person is gone down 6 feet, generally we all know the man will move on with another woman. Yeah. So what happens to the kids? Have you forgotten the 9 months of that journey of having these kids? Those 1 year of breastfeeding, or 6 months, those crawling moments till they became toddlers, became, So those journey, you've forgotten so easily. So my case was, I couldn't just, I tried to be very hard, to be tough. I tried to be like a lioness in the jungle. Well, at times when I remember what I've been through and the battering, if I knew I was going to leave, I would have left since than receiving those beatings.
But that's the thing. Many people wish and pray that it gets better, but it doesn't. And it's a pattern, it's a cycle, isn't it?
Yeah.
They batter you, they apologize, they won't do it again, and you believe them, and it just goes on.
Yeah, it was.
I'm sorry you had to experience that.
Yeah, it was something that, and of course, he's married to another woman, and my son doesn't even know his face because he was 3 years old when I left. But the thing I would tell every single moms, or if you're still in marriage and you think it's going to work out, unfortunately, I'm sorry. Once he has started, he can't stop. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, because outside there he has variety. And make it worse, if the family supports his cause, you're not going to be enough to please him or her. So please, I don't want to talk about the late. We've had a lot of cases of most women dying, or they died in the process. Even when I was in Canada, those who were alive when I was going through my own stress, they were alive. They will be wishing that, oh, thank God I did not, my marriage is okay. Please, if you know you're going through that, I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I'm trying to.
Don't be sorry. I know this is very emotional for you. Yeah.
I'm trying to hold myself, because I try to be very tough. I don't like to cry so my kids won't see me. Like my mood goes off when I'm like that. So it has really, I never saw myself to be a single mom because of the vulnerability of how they treat single mothers when they know that you're not with your husband, right? The society, unfortunately, the men too, take vulnerability of your being single for something else. So I don't like to think about it, but I'm sorry I'm crying, because most of the women I'm counseling will have seen this video. But what I would say, if you notice there's fire, evacuate. Don't wait for you to call firefighter. You should be the one to fight yourself out of it. And please take your children. Do not leave your kids for anybody. They can never take care of your kids more than yourself. That is why we see a lot of community out there, a lot of kids out there are becoming so rough. They become thieves, they become, touts, and they're causing more nuisance in the community. Please take your kids. And if possible, anything that you have, like I sold my jewelries. I sold all my gold jewelries. I had to borrow money from friends, and I paid them when I got to Canada after like 2 years. I was paying back. I was doing 3 to 4 jobs, cleaning, PSW, and caregiver, babysitting. So I used those money to offset the bills I had back home. So please, God will take care of you, but you have to take care of yourself first. And these kids need good sanity. That is how they can become our future leaders, to take care of this generation. But if they live in a very toxic family, toxic home, they become worse. So, and Sister Mo, I'm so happy. I know this has been more than 1 year. I've been trying to push it forward, not to come for this.
I wanted you to be ready. I wanted you to be ready.
Yeah, because I know it takes me the courage to call. Even when I was driving, they're like, do you want to do this? Because most people don't know what I've been through. They just say, Ije motivate. So Brace Up Arise Foundation, we're here to support single parents. If you have any single mom or single dad going through a lot, even the youths, the kids of the single moms, we're to support them. Have partners like Tim Hortons, Walmart, and so many other organizations who are willing to work with us. Even international organizations are working with us. They want to see from my story. I've been to a lot of events where I speak on behalf of women of what I've been through, domestic violence, and how I was able to manage it, and how I was able to, take care of my kids. Because if I had come to Canada without my kids, I would regret it for life, So, and those who chased me out of the marriage before I knew it, they're all dropping dead. And I don't know why. I don't know what's happening. So they're trying to call me back, and I said, I'm sorry, I can't come back to that family again, because that experience is like a nightmare, So please don't stay there for too long. In fact, evacuate. And also be focused. Get yourself valued. Make yourself valuable. Make sure you get something. No matter how, if you don't have a skilled job, just get yourself valuable, and also give back to the community, because God sees everything. The universe sees everything. And that is how they fight for you when you don't know. And show love to your kids. In a week, create bonding. Take them to the Word of God. If you're a Muslim, teach them the Word of God. If you're a Christian, teach them the Word of God. Don't get carried away with your phones. No matter what they ask you, be there, be attentive to their needs, because they will see it as part of you, and they believe in, mostly their brains are being programmed now. Don't get carried away with phones. Watch what they do and ask questions. Like, I have teenagers now. They are doing some things. They're like, Mom, what if? I said, okay, let me get to go out with you. And I stay at one corner, and I'm looking at them, okay, this and that, So they have confidence in me. I'm not carried away with everything. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't have said it better myself. You've all heard from Ije. If you feel the fire, don't wait. Evacuate. Those are her words. On that note, we're going to come back with Dr. Yewande's perspective on this one. Thank you. See you soon.
When you're at work or even at home and you need a snack, trust me, the best snack that you can get out there is goat chips. They're plantain chips or they're chin chin. I actually do like their popcorn for movie night. So I have another meeting, no time for food yet. So I'm going to go for the salted one today. This is a little unripe, so it's crunchy, and I'm feeling crunchy today. So typically I take that with my tea or coffee. And
Hello and welcome back. If you're joining us, this is the story of Ije. We've just finished that story on domestic violence, and what a story. Dr. Yewande, what a story that was. There's so many aspects of it that I'd like for you to unpack for us. One of the ones that I think stood out for me was when she said she couldn't leave because she thought she felt she would be a disappointment to her parents. And isn't that so true? Because that might be what's holding back a lot of people when they see their parents who've been married for maybe 50 years, and they feel like a disappointment living An abusive marriage.
Yeah. It was such a powerful story that IJ shared. Powerful, sad, but also super inspiring at the same time. What she shared about being a disappointment to her family speaks a lot about programming, for lack of better word, the way we are programmed to think. Because truthfully, again, I don't know, her parents may not have outrightly said, IJ, if you leave this marriage, we will be so disappointed in you. In fact, I would argue that if they actually knew
what was
going on, they would have begged her to leave. But somewhere along the line, perhaps as a little girl, seeing her parents, hearing things in church, hearing just little things that we pick up from society, we then form these beliefs about marriage and about ourselves in the context of marriage. If I leave my marriage, then I'm a failure. Or if I leave my marriage, then I'm a disappointment. So we all have these underlying rules and assumptions that we operate by unknowingly. And I think that was what a lot was at play here.
Yes.
But that's a lot of what was at play here. This assumption or this belief that she had formed based on her upbringing that if I were to leave this marriage, then I'm going to be a disappointment. So it's better for me to stay.
Not to leave.
Yeah, very powerful.
And she alluded a lot to culture.
Yeah.
Especially, she kept saying, I'm an Igbo woman.
Yeah.
And, it's just the culture, the fact that as an Igbo woman, it was almost a stigma or a taboo to not leave. And then her mother-in-law, the role she played, knowing that her son was abusing this young lady and threatening her, if you leave, someone else is coming.
Yeah.
How do we even begin to address that? If she were your patient or your client, what kind of advice would you give to her? Because one of the things she didn't talk about was whether or not she sought the help of therapy when she came. In fact, she was counseling others. But in a way, hurting people hurt others. And we have to be careful how we counsel others when we haven't gotten the help we need ourselves. So IJ is a strong woman, and I've seen her. She has a good heart. She's good, but I know that she will do better with counseling. So I wonder if she sought counseling. Unfortunately, she's no longer in the studio. But what kind of advice would you give to someone like her, or even going through what she's experienced?
Yeah, IJ, obviously, she's a very strong woman and she identifies as such, as you said. One thing I will tell her is that, so there's something in psychology that we call post-traumatic stress, but there's also, interestingly, post-traumatic growth. And IJ obviously has demonstrated a ton of growth to the point where she has her NGO, she's written her book, she's counseling other women, involved in her community, and all the amazing things that she has done. One thing I will tell her is that post-traumatic growth and post-traumatic stress can coexist. Meaning that just because you have shown a lot of strength and done amazing things, you've come out of the fire, doesn't mean that there's a part of you that still needs that healing, that still needs to be addressed.
Might just have been cloaked.
Cloaked, yes. And sometimes a lot of the things that we see are what we call a trauma response to, where you see a lot of people, I'll give, for example, people who grew up in poverty, right? So they grew up in poverty and then you find that they are workaholics. And when you get to talking to them, it's as a result of that trauma, the fear of growing up. So they keep pushing themselves because they fear going back to where they were. So, without having talked to IJ herself and really understanding, okay, what have you done to heal yourself? Just assuring her that, yes, you've demonstrated a lot of growth. You're helping a lot of people. But let's also acknowledge that what you experienced was highly traumatic. And it's okay to address that as well too. It's not going to take away, it's not going to take away from your resilience. It's not going to take away from your strength. It's all part of your story.
She's such an amazing woman. Writing a book on parenting, single parenting. I doff my hat to you, IJ, and to so many other women, and not just women. I think there are lots of men who go through domestic violence
Yeah,
as well. And
yeah.
unfortunately, they never come up because
Yeah.
of the machoism.
Yes.
And they don't want to be seen to be victims. But
And to your
yeah.
point about that, you had said something interesting that hurt people. I'm very curious, and of course, we may never know what IJ's ex-husband went through for his mom to tell IJ, you better stay because somebody else is going to step into place. Did she experience domestic violence herself? Is that where
normalized
and
it.
has normalized it? Is that where he learned it from? That it's okay to just, did he witness his mom being, I mean, we don't know, these are all speculations, but typically we know that people don't just wake up and become abusive unless there's a serious issue like a personality disorder or something like that. But typically it's modeling things that they've seen growing up, things that they've heard growing up that they now bring into their own marriages and their own relationships. So it's just into the culture perpetuates abuse. One of my clients said something very interesting. She said, religion failed me and tradition failed me, because not only religion, the culture, but even churches sometimes will encourage you to stay in these dangerous situations. Be submissive. God hates divorce. You know, all these things that get perpetuated. And unfortunately, we've heard too many stories of women dying, even after seeking help from their traditional leaders, family leaders, and even church leaders.
Yeah.
Religious
I mean,
leaders.
don't get me wrong. I'm all for being submissive to the husband, but not when it's in an abusive marriage or relationship. Seek help. Get out. Like I just said, when there's fire, evacuate.
Yeah.
Those were her words. And no one else will put it better because she's felt it. She knows. And she uses those words. Isn't it interesting? When there's fire, evacuate. So it's probably trauma that's registered.
Yeah.
You know.
One thing I also hear people say is, well, why did you wait? Why did you wait 12 years? Because she kept saying a couple of things like, if I had known I was going to leave, I wouldn't have waited. I would have left sooner. But we have to understand that for you to stay in an abusive relationship, an abusive situation, there's also been a lot of programming that has happened to make you believe that you can't leave. That, you know, I'll have people say, like, where will I go? They genuinely believe that they are trapped, and they genuinely believe that that this is it for them.
And she did ask those questions. Where would I go with 3 kids?
Yeah. So there's a lot of, and she would say things like, my ex-husband would say things like, look at you. So there's a lot of messaging that goes on before someone even believes that they are stuck. Things that he may have said to her. Nobody will ever want you. If you leave me, your life is over. You know, you're worthless. So all those things, they start to become things that she would believe, that people believe truly. As an outsider, it's easy to say, well, no, you have all these options. But if somebody has said the same thing to you. That
was her reality.
It was her reality. It was her reality.
And in a way, she did allude to that because she said, well, the IJ you see now was what I was before I married.
Yeah.
I would not dress up. I was a shadow of myself.
Exactly. So this is what abusers do. They start to chip away at you mentally before they ever lay a hand on you. They get you to the point where your reality becomes distorted, and they know that you can't leave. They've done everything that they can to make sure, okay, this person isn't going anywhere, and then they do. There are obviously women who the first time someone tries to do that to them, or the first hint or the first sign, they take off. You had asked about red flags, right? Many times people ignore the red flags because, again, different beliefs around who else will love me, this is the best I can do, and they just go with it, and things just end up getting worse. Yeah.
It's so unfortunate that this keeps happening and repeating itself, and we hope that more and more women will be bold and courageous like IJ and just, you know, leave abusive situations. But you and I know it's usually not so easy, especially where their self-esteem is gone and there's the financial aspect to think about, because she also came to that point to say, well, if I was a banker and he treated me like trash, now that I'm jobless, it's going to be worse. And sometimes it's that alarm bells that's ringing. But even with all of those, you find that People still feel incapacitated to live. We just pray that, you know, God will help them and they'll leave those abusive situations and no harm will be done. Wow.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, thank you. Please click on that subscribe button. We really appreciate your support. Without you, we won't come this far. So please click on the subscribe button and also that notification bell so you don't miss another exciting episode.